Welcome back. This time we're going to talk about keyframes. Keyframes have some interesting advanced properties that can make your work so much more professional and make it easier at the same time. These properties allow you to move objects such as text or graphics around the screen much more quickly and easily. They allow you to zoom in, zoom back out again without chopping up your clips into small pieces, and that makes your sequence easier to work with and your whole workflow much faster and easier. So once you've learned to use these features and integrated them into your workflow, they'll make your editing so much quicker and easier and more professional, and I guarantee you that you'll never look back. So let's run the intro and get into the advanced properties of keyframes. So let's look first of all at how to use some of these advanced keyframe features if you want to zoom in, zoom back out on a subject who's speaking to camera so that you create a little bit of variety in the clip and relieve the monotony of it. So if you're going to do this, one of my key tips is the first thing that you should do is that you should set the anchor point so that when you zoom, it zooms correctly and you don't have to adjust the position when you adjust the scale. So I would click on anchor point and I would place the anchor point just above where the eyes are, which means when you zoom in, it will zoom in nicely and correctly on that face. So having done that, then the next thing that we want to do is to click the stopwatch on the scale attribute, and that will toggle on the animation for scale, and it will place your first keyframe here in the clip. So having done that, we want to just simply select that keyframe and right click on it, go down the options here, and you'll see that by default, the attribute of that keyframe is linear. That means that between that keyframe and the next keyframe that you place, the change in that attribute will be linear. It will be smooth between the two keyframes, but that's not what we want. We want to use the option called hold. In other words, we want to keep the zoom level the way it is until the next keyframe. So having done that and set the keyframe to hold, we're going to go to the sequence and play it through to the end of the first sentence.
Spent the last week advising new clients, existing clients and other people's clients on their options regarding their upcoming travel plans in relation to the current coronavirus situation.
So we're now at the end of the first sentence, and what we want to do is zoom in to 120%. So I click on the scale and put in 120, and let's see just how that looks. I'll go back to the beginning, play the clip.
Spent the last week advising new clients, existing clients and other people's clients on their options regarding their upcoming travel plans in relation to the current coronavirus situation. This has included amendments, cancellations and urgent repatriations.
So having gone through the first two sentences, then I'll create another keyframe just by clicking on the Add Remove Keyframe option here, and it sticks with the same default of hold that the previous keyframes had, and I can type in 100 to take it back to 100% zoom level. And so now we have a section between these two keyframes where the zoom is at 100% and then it resumes at normal. So that's how you use the hold keyframe in order to do this. And what are the advantages? Why would you do it that way? Well, the advantages are that you still have a single clip, which means that you can apply attributes to it without having to copy and paste attributes between different clips after you've chopped the one up into several different pieces. And you can easily adjust where the zoom is by just simply clicking on the keyframes and moving them between one location on the clip and another. As well as that, it's really easy to do these zoom in and zoom outs. For example, if we wanted to do it again at this point in the clip, we could simply just copy these two keyframes. So I've selected them both by just dragging across them. I type Control C to copy them, and I type Control V to paste them in at that point, and I've now added in another zoom in portion, and that all is so much easier and faster than it would be if you were going to do this by chopping up your clip into little pieces and changing the zoom level independently for each one of those. So that's how you use the hold attribute for keyframes in zooming in and zooming out on a person. We're going to go on now to look at how some of the other features of keyframes are really useful for moving objects, moving text, and moving captions on the screen. Let's have a look at how you might use these keyframe attributes to move text and graphics on the screen. So I'm going to create a quick caption here on this scene of Manhattan sunrise, and I'll take my text tool and just type Manhattan sunrise. I've set a background to this to make it look a little bit more like a caption. I'll expand that background a little bit just so that we've got a little bit of room around it, and we have the caption there just where I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate this caption now. So we'll start with the caption off the screen. I'm going to work with vector motion here and use the position within that, because that gives me an infinite frame to work within, and that is much better for animating captions and objects especially where they may have to go off the screen. So let's select the clip that we want to move, and I'm just going to move the vertical position up so that it is now off the screen to start with, and I'm going to animate that property and it automatically sets in a keyframe. I'm going to move forward using Shift and the right arrow key. Each click will move me 5 frames forward, so I'm going to do that 3 times to get 15 frames, and I'm going to move the position down to the point at which I want the caption to rest on the screen. Going to extend the length of this clip a little bit so that it's long enough for us to work with. Up to 5 seconds here would be good. I'm going to move forward up to 3 seconds on the timeline. I'm going to put in another keyframe. I'm going to move forward 15 frames by holding Shift and pressing the right arrow 3 times. And I'm now going to move the caption off the screen to the right. So let's see how that looks if I play it from the beginning. So that's fine, the caption moves in the right kind of way. However, the movement is a little bit jerky. It kind of comes to an abrupt halt when it reaches the vertical position, and it jerks off then a bit to the right. So let's see how we can fix this using keyframe attributes. So we have the keyframes set up here. And what we want to do is we want to change this second keyframe, which I'll just select now, right click on it, go to Temporal Interpolation and change the mode to ease in. What that means is that it will not abruptly come to the position that's defined by that keyframe, but it will ease into that position. And I'm going to change the keyframe where it begins to move out. I'm going to change the temporal interpolation to ease out, which means that the motion will begin more smoothly from that keyframe position towards where it's going to end up. So let's see how this looks now. I'll just start and play the clip. You see now immediately that the movement is much more fluid and smooth. Now you can go even further than that. So we can make this movement even more smooth by opening up the details of the position, and you'll see that there is now a graph that shows how that movement works. I'm just going to expand this a little bit by clicking on the plus key so that I can see the curve a little bit more clearly here. I'm just going to move this Bezier handle out to the right, which will cause the movement to start even more slowly than before. So let's look now at how the caption moves off the screen. You see now that it starts quite slowly, and we can do the same with the keyframe where the caption comes to rest here. So what I can do is I can drag this handle out a little bit and make it come to rest very slowly. So now let's play how the caption works. You see that it settles into position and it moves out smoothly. So that's really how you might use these attributes in order to get your objects moving in a natural and fluid and much more professional way. So just to recap that, when we click on temporal interpolation, that governs how the object will move against time. We can have it moving continuously and smoothly, which is the default option, which is linear. We can use the Bezier option, which allows us to manage how quickly it will begin to move to the next keyframe. You can set that up just using Auto Bezier, which will give you a default option, or you can use the ease in or ease out options. Or alternatively, if you want the object to move in one step and not continuously between the keyframes, then you can use the hold option. So those are the various options that you have for moving objects. Just makes your life so much easier, but it definitely makes the end result much more smooth and professional. I hope that you find that useful, and if so, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me get out to a bigger audience. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. So if you've enjoyed this video and benefited from it, then please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell and you'll be notified of the new videos as they're uploaded. I'm going to post a new video each week covering Premiere Pro, After Effects, Audition, Photoshop and Lightroom. So if you're interested in learning about these projects, then please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell and get a new video every week.